In a land where cacti outnumber cell towers and the horizon stretches further than a fiber optic cable, it's time for Valley's Bits, Bytes and Banter, the podcast that looks a bit behind the scenes of a broadband provider, takes a big bite out of the tech world, and serves up a healthy dose of banter with people in our community. And now, without further ado, here's your host, Bob Dahlstrom.
Thank you very much, Lee Patterson, and welcome everybody to another episode of Valley's Bits, Bytes, and Banter. Am I a little hot talking to you guys right now?
Maybe a little bit.
Sound a little bit hot, maybe?
No,
all right.
Maybe it's your headphones.
It must be my headphones a little bit, Ralph. You can turn down a little bit there. I don't want to blow everybody out, but thank you all for tuning in to Valley's Bits, Bytes, and Banter, the podcast I do with my co-host and partner in crime, Mr. Ralph Score.
I'm not in jail.
That's always a good thing to look at it. Actually, if people may not know, it's a Friday today. We're recording this episode, and we don't release it on the Friday, but it's, end of the week. You're not in jail.
Yeah, I'm not in jail. That's great.
Right?
I'm not in jail over the weekend. That's really good.
Yeah, nothing worse. How y'all doing? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys downloading, subscribing, liking, share our podcast episodes. Anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple, iHeart, Spotify, and ours are hosted on Podbean, so you can go to podbean.com or the free Podbean app and search Valley's Bits, and that's how you find us. And you can also go to the our YouTube channel, and also on our website at vtc.net/blog, among other articles and excellent things we have there on our website. So go check that out. Appreciate you guys tuning in.
That's it.
And we're looking forward to having a really fun episode. Not that they're not all fun. We learn a lot of things every time we do a podcast episode, do we not?
This one is fun and games.
Oh, yes, because this one is going to be themed around gaming. And, of course, we wanted to bring in some experts to help us with that. And we do have them here in the studio with us today.
We do.
And we're going to get all into that.
I want to thank you for calling me an expert on gaming.
You're welcome, Ralph. I know that nobody can play Pong like you can.
Especially on Etch-a-Sketch.
Especially on the Etch-a-Sketch. Ralph is undefeated.
Or Tetris in the back of a truck.
or Tetris.
With boxes.
There you go.
That's right.
Tetris. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I've moved enough to understand that reference, Ralph. I get that.
Yep.
I appreciate that. But yes, this one's about gaming, and we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But Ralph, what did you bring to the table today?
Well, there's just a couple things going on in the FCC right now. They've got some of the headlines that are pulling up. If you go to their website, they're going to address new business data services pricing regulations. So that might affect some of what we're doing as a company.
Interesting.
As far as that goes. Another thing they're doing is they're proposing a modernization of the nation's alerting system, which is something we've needed for a long, long time as far as getting the word out.
Yeah, they really need to update that. And they have the technology to do it.
Yeah, they do.
Now,
they do.
So.
It's a matter of will they spend the money? That's the question.
Well, boils down to cost. I know all that stuff. Yes, but it's important.
Yeah, it is. Another thing they're going to do is they're deleting an outdated broadcast rules and requirements, and I think this is something that all of the major, because of the way cable operates, a lot of the traditional TV stations and radio stations want changes in their regulations because they get hammered because of big tech coming in.
Right.
And I think you'll see a lot of stuff right now in the news and releases from local stations and that. They get affected by this as far as why do we get hammered and yet cable and big tech can get away with whatever they want to get away with.
Yeah, it's not really a level playing field at that point.
It's not even close to it.
Right.
And then another one would be the evaluation of deployment of advanced telecommunications, which that plays into a lot of what we do as far as fiber optics and also the new LEO stuff. And for those of you who don't know what LEO is, that's low Earth orbit. You're talking Starlink, you're talking the new Kuiper program coming out by Amazon and that.
Right. I always wondered what LEO stood for. I didn't really know.
Yeah, low Earth orbit. And the thing is, none of them are geostationary, right? So they, it's like they're like little bees hiving around.
A lot of buzzing going around
well,
up there.
They talked about the near misses in space nowadays. Near miss is anything within a half a kilometer, and they say 90% of the near misses are caused by Starlink satellites.
I am not surprised by that.
Right.
There is quite a network of them up there.
And then they're also going to another thing is they're streamlining the space processes and they're boosting innovation, I guess, to allow for more of this somehow. So
interesting.
And then also space also means the space of the spectrum that we're doing stuff with.
Well, we did talk about one of the other episodes that in the International Space Station, their average download speed is 0.6 meg.
Yeah. really
600 kilobits. I mean, you're in space. It's a distance,
really
right?
slow.
So I'm assuming that is part of the plan to improve that in the satellite.
There's no resistance.
Right. Yes.
Right? There's no resistance to that. There's no copper.
Your data's just out there.
How long?
No gravity.
How long is that copper wire? That's all I want to know.
Can you plug it in, Earl?
Yeah.
All
right. Anyway,
reboot the router, please.
I'm going to shift a little different here. Since this episode is on gaming, this is from Wikipedia. Which is a lot better than it used to be when they started out. When they started out, anybody could get on there and say whatever they wanted to say, and nobody could. You didn't have to verify it or anything.
Which, to an extent, is still that way.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but now they have to now they have to show, hey, here's where our sources are coming from and all that stuff,
right.
or they might not get it on there anyway. These are the top 5 best-selling video games. According to Wikipedia. Okay.
Ooh, let's hear them.
Okay, number 5 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Now, are these all of all time, or are these?
This is overview of best-selling video games.
Okay.
And their total is 77,320,000.
It's a very specific number.
Right? Yeah. Next is
They've
Ark.
got my game on there, I guess, apparently.
Ark Survival Evolved, that's 79 million, right?
Very cool game.
Wii Sports, 82.9 million. Grand Theft Auto 5, 215 million copies of that sold.
That would,
And-
that started that.
Any
whole
guess on
industry.
the top one?
Yeah, it is.
Let's see.
I know it.
I mean, okay.
I won't say it. Let's see if you guess. Want to take a guess?
With 350 million copies sold. Minecraft.
that
makes
makes
sense.
a lot
Really?
of
That
sense.
makes a lot
actually.
of sense.
Yeah.
What about Tetris?
Yeah. No.
But the thing with Wii Sports is it came free with the Wii.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cheating.
Yeah, that is kind of cheating.
Yeah, kind of. What are the?
You
Yeah.
bought the Wii, therefore you get the game. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
when you talk how many copies are out there, very little of those have been purchased separately.
Yeah,
Right.
so anytime you bought the Wii, you got the game.
That's true.
But the other cool thing about that is it's only exclusive to the Wii.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that so
That
it's
is
not
correct.
like it was on other systems. So it's still kind of
Right,
impressive.
still pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
You know?
Yeah, so a couple of other ones they just list after that is Red Dead Redemption, Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, The Sims, The Oregon Trail, Terraria, The Witcher, and
Oregon Trail.
and Super Mario Brothers is down the line. at
One of my
50
favorites.
58
Sounds like a pretty
58
solid
million.
list.
Pretty good list of
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
games.
that's
I think so. It's a pretty solid list.
I can tell you, I've never played any of these.
What are 7 games I've never played? Well, I have a little trivia for you too. The character Mario. Can you tell me what game he first appeared in?
Would that be Donkey Kong?
That would be Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And
his
I don't
name-
even know this.
Very good, Ralph. But his name was not Mario.
It was Hey Mario.
He had a different name.
I know it. Do you know it, George?
I don't think I know it.
It was
I knew.
Jumpman.
I knew.
Yes, it was Jumpman.
Jumpman.
Very
You also got to
generic
remember
name.
it was Japanese development.
Jumpman.
So they
Yes.
were just like
Okay.
Jumpman.
They named him Jumpman, and it was
Wow.
changed to Mario and Donkey Kong Jr.
Oh,
That's
okay.
when they changed it. But he was Jumpman before then. And then, of course, the whole he's a plumber. Now he has a brother, and all this stuff came out. You
Heavily
know,
inspired by Popeye cartoons, from what I understand.
Really?
I think
The
that's, I
original
read that
Donkey
too.
Kong.
Yes, that's my favorite game of all time. But we'll talk about that later. So, anyways, that's a good way to go with our first break. Is talking about.
Yep.
Let's jump into our first break. See what I did there, Jumpman.
Yes, that was good.
That was
Good
bad.
one.
All right, we'll be right back after the short break. Stay tuned.
Hey, are you playing Fortnite?
Yeah.
Let's go, man. I'm gonna beat you so bad.
You know I could go pro if I wanted to. You do not stand a chance. Besides, we always just play against each other.
Yeah, that's true.
We need to find more people to play with.
Hey, Valley Telecom has the Fiber Gaming Network, an online community where we can compete in tournaments and win real prizes, or just meet new gamers and participate in casual game nights.
Whoa, that's so cool. But how much does it cost?
It's actually free. Valley Telecom is providing this to their community at no charge. We just go to vtc.net/gaming and sign up.
Wow, that's so awesome. Now I can show everyone I'm the best.
Get in the game with a fiber gaming network powered by Valley Telecom. Go to vtc.net/gaming to sign up today. Welcome back to Valley's Bits, Bytes, and Banter. I'm your co-host, Bob Dahlstrom, along with my partner in crime, Ralph Score. And today is a special episode, I guess we could say. Instead of featuring just the guests, we're going to talk about gaming. We know the topic we're going to talk about, but we do have special guests.
Yeah, who are our guests today?
I'm glad
Bob,
you asked,
tell us who
bro.
our guests are today.
Let me tell you. Ralph, first of all, you heard him on here before. We've had him on talking about movies and giving us his expertise on this. And he's
One
also
of the boys.
he's an expert gamer. Yes, I'm going to put it out there. He's also managed IT technician for Valley, Mr. Josh Encinas. Josh, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We didn't scare you off, so that's a good. We're setting the tone for our next guest. He's a first timer on our podcast, and he is also an excellent gamer and has a lot to say about movies and games, and that's why he's here. He's one of our broadband support specialists, Mr. George Tapia. George, how are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing great. Appreciate you guys coming.
Yeah, no problem.
And you brought notes, which is awesome. Stuff we're going to talk about, but
I'm sorry, no notes.
Ralph has
This is a no notes quiz.
Oh wait, that's what we tell the studio guys. No notes.
no notes. Everybody has their notes. Take them and throw them in the trash. Here we go. We don't need any notes.
I do have one thing to say about when you call us expert gamers. That would not fly 10 to 20 years ago when you called someone that.
Well, that
Is that like calling him a gentleman cowboy?
Yeah.
Or a gentleman rancher, a guy who does no work whatsoever on ranch?
Without qualifying you guys as experts, I'm throwing that. You guys are well versed. How's that?
Yeah.
Very well versed in the gaming world, in the gaming industry.
Well,
so.
depending on who you're comparing it to,
Yeah.
right? You know, I mean, if you're comparing it to somebody else sitting at the table here, you are expert gamers.
Who, as he said, plays Pong.
Yeah.
It's
Etch-a-sketch.
such a sketch. So let's talk gaming. Let's get a little background on gaming. I know you guys brought some notes for this. So this is what I have. Let's start with this here. The first game box, so to speak, that was created was a prototype known as the brown box. Do you know which one that was? Do you guys have gotten into that a little bit? Who did it? Well, that kind of thing.
Well, I want to say it was Atari, right?
No,
Nope.
very close.
Wasn't the Atari?
Atari basically took the lead from them
Yeah.
to do what they did. It was Magnavox.
Magnavox.
Mag-
Oh,
The
yeah,
Odyssey.
Yeah.
And the guy's name was Bear. I can't remember his first name. But he's considered like the godfather of video games, basically, is what he is who created this thing.
You know, when you consider that Magnavox is one of the first companies that ever made a VHS stack
Yeah.
out there, it goes hand in hand with that.
Yeah, it really does. It makes sense, right? It's home. They were making something for home entertainment.
Yep.
And then, of course, the first consumer sold system went on sale in 1972, and that, I believe, was Atari.
The Atari 2600, or the video computer system.
Yes, because it didn't have the fancy numbers and everything. It was basically called
Yeah.
the video computer system.
Now, what game or games came with that original Atari?
Pong. Oh, well, actually, let me see. Pong was released in 1972. Yes. Yep.
Ralph is back in. You brought him back in to the conversation. But yeah, Atari, Pong was a very big one. It was the very first arcade video game.
Yeah. I was watching a thing on, like, Pong was like a weird thing basically all throughout the 70s. Like, Pong was created, and then everyone had a clone. So basically all throughout the early 70s, every arcade system was trying to make a Pong
They had their
clone.
own version of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that caused some issues with some other things, but Pong was everywhere.
That's before everybody went copyright crazy.
Well, Magnavox threw out a bunch of lawsuits and
Yeah.
won against these industries, including Atari.
Yeah.
So they worked with Magnavox to do the games that they did. But yeah, you're right. I mean, everybody's trying to jump on the same train and follow the same lead, take the same technology, patent, lineage, whatever.
And of course, graphics were not a real big deal then. You know, it was all about the functionality of the game and the
Yeah.
logic behind the game. When do you really think that changed as far as the graphical element that came in? Was that after like the Mac came out because of the whole the whole Windows factor as far as the GUI?
So I was going to say that the arcade golden era, like where that started coming into play, was after the release of Space Invaders, which I was going to kind of get to. So Space Invaders comes out, and then that kind of kicked off a list of games that came out. It was Galaga, Asteroids, Battle Zone, Missile Command, Defend, like all those.
And these were all arcade at the time,
Yeah,
is that right?
And that's where
Yeah.
they were starting to actually kind of use lines instead of bits. They were changing some things up. First-person shooters, side-scrolling, like that all kind of got introduced in that late, like 78
Right.
into the 80s era.
And like branching out to like different genres and having like a whole different ecosystem in games like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because then that games like Pac-Man,
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
a sudden changed.
Pac-Man
Donkey
80.
Kong changed it. Yeah, so everybody started getting really creative with that and do that with the chairs. And you're right, but I remember playing Space Invaders when it came out. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm-
Space Invader, mine was asteroids, playing asteroids all the time. And it was still rudimentary looking, because it was basically just, polygons.
Right.
Polygons and an XY axis with a rotator to turn the direction you were going to go in.
So there's actually some cool stuff about Space Invaders. So like I said, in the 70s, Pong was like king. Everybody wanted to make a Pong knockoff. And so all throughout the 70s, they kind of thought gaming was becoming very stale because it was the same thing over and over. There was not a lot of changes being made, and all the games are kind of the same. It wasn't until the Space Invaders came out, and it was from Japan, which, international gaming hadn't really been a thing. So for Space Invaders to come out from Japan, all around the world, it was the first global mega hit. And it was a few firsts. It was the first where the enemy shot back at you. It was the first to use lives instead of timers. It was the first to implement a high score system. And it was the first game to have a continuous background music loop.
Wow.
And there's
Wow.
so that was the first for a lot of things. So it was really innovative. Space Invaders is more innovative than a lot of people give it credit for.
Kind
So
of set the tone for what was going to be coming afterwards. Wow.
yeah, that's what I was
Amazing.
saying. Like it did all that stuff, and then they used all those elements to create, the other games, Galaga, Asteroids.
So who was it that came up with Space Invaders?
Look at his name. It was a Japanese gentleman.
Yeah, it was. That came up with Space Invaders. And like, while Josh is checking that out, that was when the games became, like you said, you think about it, it changed the whole thing about you only have 3 lives. You can get 1 life. There was a finite
Right.
time you could
Right.
play.
Tomohiro Nishikado.
And was that what company released that? Do you know?
He was under.
Space Invaders, I don't
I
remember.
believe it was his own independent work.
Which one was?
Space Invaders. By the Taito Corporation of Japan.
Oh, Taito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Taito was a big player.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they hadn't really had like development studios yet, or studios that were specifically to develop games.
Right.
That came with Atari, and then later Activision was one of the first ones.
Right. Right.
And then Nintendo.
And
there's a-
EA Sports eventually coming along.
I had a buddy who had an Intellivision system from Activision. He did all the games, and that was the first time I ever got to play Pitfall Harry,
Oh yeah.
which
I
is
remember playing
a
Pitfall.
maddening, frustrating game. But anyway,
The little alligator.
the little pixelated alligator
and
that
the
would come at
python.
you.
The little python in the pit. Yeah.
But that in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, that kicked off a whole thing, right? And being able to stand at a game, be able to play it, put a quarter in,
Yeah.
and be able to play it.
So the comparison that I saw, it was like, we have Twitch today, which is an online community that you can sit and watch people play video games, and you can have conversations. And that was what an arcade was back in the 80s. It was literally just you'd go there and you'd watch your friends play, and you would just hang out. It was a social thing.
Yeah, you'd have
So
a bunch of people
100%.
hanging around one game, and they'd each be taking their shot at it.
So,
And everybody would line up their quarters who was next when they were done.
Well, and if you think about it, that was a continuation of what pinball was for
Right.
people.
Yeah.
because
Hey,
you'd
it
have
was
guys
really-
come
it
around.
was a social-
Hey, look what he's doing. Pinball Wizard. Came from the whole idea of somebody that was going crazy on a pinball machine and racking it up.
I spent many an hour at arcades, and I remember that. Yeah, you hang
Well,
out with your buddies.
and arcades still exist. I mean, you still have Dave and Buster's. I hear
Oh,
we
yeah.
have Round One. There's a few other ones,
Yep.
some private ones. too,
Arcade
but
bars
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
adults they have.
Yeah.
Cobra is it Cobra,
Cobra
Arcade,
Arcade.
up in Tucson and Phoenix?
Yep.
Actually, one of the best ones is at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas.
Really?
Yeah, they've got a huge arcade there. They actually have a real flight simulator that you sit in and get strapped in with.
Oh, that's cool.
They make you take everything out of your pockets. They have the red alert button to stop if you're going to get sick. The whole 9 yards.
And
yeah.
go to the Mills. They have one there like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it near the food court.
Yeah. It's just
have
what
one
you
there.
want on a flight simulator next to a food court.
Yeah. Well, they have some games. It was like a hot air balloon flight, and you get in, you strap yourself in. It's 2-story.
Yeah.
And
That's
it
crazy.
shoots you up, and then you feel your balloon runs out of helium and it starts dropping. You shoot back up again. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, that started off a whole new thing, right? That was like something had never been done before and accessible to everybody. I mean, not everybody could afford a gaming system at the time when they first came out. They were very expensive. They still are.
I was going to say, you mean they're not?
No, they very much are.
Honestly, they're cheaper now compared to what they were.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the inflation
And all that figured
Right.
in.
I want to say the Atari was like $200 back in 1978.
It was a lot.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
That's
It's
why
like
I go play my buddies. I couldn't afford one. We couldn't afford one as a family.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
like
and-
the original top load VHSs were like $1,400 for a video player. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a big argument now because pricing is like a big hot topic right now. You know, you have your AAA games coming out and they're around $70 to $80 right now per game. But if you look back at a catalog from like 1996 with a Nintendo 64, those games were anywhere from $50 to $70 as
Right.
well. And that was 30 years
Right.
ago.
So is one of the big differences, in other words, instead of owning a game, you're just licensing a game now?
That's an
a lot
argument
of
that's
that
happening.
going on.
There was a big loss. Well, I don't know if it's gotten to the lawsuit, but it was the Crew.
Yeah, it was the
Kind of
company
like software,
Ubisoft.
you know, reminds me of software. You know,
Yeah.
you license software now instead of owning
So
it.
the
Right.
company Ubisoft, they released a game that didn't do very well, and once they wanted to cut life for that game, they told the whole community, whoever bought a disc digitally, they said we're taking away the license from that game or from the people, and kind of saying like you don't own this game.
Talk about pissing
Like you're
off,
only, like-
about pissing off your
Yeah.
base, you know.
Yeah, so that started a whole thing.
Like if you only like rent the game or like you're leasing out the game and then they can take it away from you at any time.
Anarchy ensued.
Well, and the argument on that one. So what's happening now, and they're trying to get around it, is a lot of games are free to play with paid transactions within the game. The problem with the Crew back then was you paid $60 for the game.
Right.
You know, and you got
bought-
a disc.
you
or
bought the game,
bought
yeah.
the game.
That's
And
right.
then-
That was the expectation.
right. And so later, when they said we're cutting support and we're shutting off the game, you no longer can play it. It's gone. So that's the argument there. So they're trying to find ways around that.
It sounds like
And-
Apple Music.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like they're just trying to like cut costs from like doing an end of life thing for the game, because like normally when a game shuts down they'll like support like an offline or make an offline version, so if anybody ever wants to come back they can.
Or they can sell it to, you know, private hosts, people that want to actually host the servers themselves, you know. And so that's not the route they took, but it
Right.
is an option.
So yeah, it just kind of seems like they didn't want to do an end of life
Right.
program or
Right.
But it is-
update.
But it is one of the arguments I have against digital music. They can always take those rights back at any
Yeah.
time.
Well, same
That's
thing
why I'm
with
a CD
same
guy.
thing with any of your streaming stuff. You can buy something from Amazon,
Right.
and if all of a sudden they lose their license to that product, it's no longer in your library.
Yeah. You're exactly right.
Well, and back in the, you know, when they had cartridge games, like there was a lot of technology that went into those. You know, you had the plastic to actually make the cartridge, circuit boards that went in because all the storage was actually within the cartridge, not the console. So there was a lot of technology
Right.
that you were, you know, so it made sense for them to be like $70 back in 1996.
Sure.
It's a lot of money, but you're basically
You're
got a
buying
lot of
it. You're
technology.
buying the process,
Right.
Not just
Yeah.
the game itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the console was $200. So it wasn't expensive. It's always been expensive. It's actually, in my opinion, I think it's cheaper now than it probably has ever been. The problem is that price is just really high. It just
Yeah.
it seems high, but compared to what it used to be,
Right.
you know.
Now, what about some of the? I know, like nowadays, like if I go to, you know, I've got a Fire TV stick. They've got a whole gaming section on Fire TV stick now. You know that you can. Some of it you play with your regular controller. Some of it you can get a real game controller and that. Where are they at with the online gaming stuff that's going on?
So what that Fire Stick is doing is they're doing like you're playing through like streaming basically. So somewhere else on like a cloud location is the actual console or the computer, whatever they're using, and it's running the game, and you're just streaming that to your device.
Right.
A few years ago, the technology wasn't great. It's getting better. Having fiber internet definitely helps with that, but you almost have to with the
Yeah.
you know the input lag that's going to be there.
Coming at you, it's like jump. I said
What is
jump.
the Google? It's Chrome. No, what is it called?
They closed down, actually. The Google one actually closed down. It was called like Strava,
Oh yeah.
and they closed down because it wasn't working. Because during the time, I don't know, maybe the software wasn't good enough or people didn't have good enough internet. to actually support running like a cloud gaming system. So
Right.
they ended up closing down eventually on that.
And I think a lot of the games that if you have Netflix, a lot of those games are going to be like lower end, not as intense to run. I know that Xbox is really working on. That's kind of their new model right now. Is they're trying to get away from like making consoles because the price of consoles is going up. So they're trying to get to where they can have
Some sort of an interface.
I think their last sell point was everything's an Xbox. You can get Xbox on your TV, on your computer, on your handheld gaming devices. So
I also saw that they started working with Meta with their VR goggles to actually implement the Xbox aspect
Very
into
the goggles themselves. Wow,
so you don't even need a TV anymore to even play. You just need the goggles and you're fine.
Yeah, and they're getting to the point now where they can try to do that with glasses.
What do you do with your hands?
They give you a controller, so
They do.
you'll have
I was
the
going to
goggles
say,
on.
what am I supposed to do? Okay, ready,
Controller.
and shoot, and shoot, and shoot.
Yeah, it's all voice automated, so you're just screaming at the goggles.
I was visiting my sister a few months ago, my younger sister in Florida, and she has a set, and I tried that out.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
If you get a
It can be
chance.
disorienting.
If you get a chance, you can look at Linus Tech Tips was on Jimmy Fallon a few months ago, and he had just got done being at the Tech Expo that they have out in is it in New York or LA? I think it was in LA. I think he flew to New York. But he brought with him the glasses that are just regular like sunglasses.
Right.
They have like one wire that has to come out of it. But it will project in the glasses a full 100-inch screen out in the real world, and then you can play video games with a Bluetooth controller.
Wow.
And I think he had, it was Bad Bunny was on there, and they had him playing Baldur's Gate 3.
So it's an augmented reality through the glasses. That's cool.
But it does look very inconvenient to wear anywhere around.
And where's your focus, right?
Yeah.
You better not be walking around too much.
Or driving with them.
Oh my goodness, that'd be bad.
I can see that being anything. I'm sorry, sir. I'm pulling you over for playing games.
Wearing sunglasses.
Yeah. What kind of sunglasses are those, sir?
That's right. Hey guys, I think we're going to head into our next break. And when we come back, we want to ask you guys questions about, some of the games you've played, what's your favorites, and get into those kinds of discussions. Ralph, you too. When we come back after this break, so everybody stick around.
The endless options for streaming movies, shows, and sports can be overwhelming. Valley Telecom is here to help with Stream Now, your ultimate online reference for all things streaming. Whether you're a binge watcher or just looking for a quick episode to enjoy, we've got you covered. Discover recommendations, compare platforms, and find the best content for your favorite streaming devices. Stream Now makes it simple to get the most out of your streaming experience. Enjoy the journey of discovering your next favorite show, movie, or live event all in one place. The best part is it's free to use. Unlock the door to endless viewing possibilities by going to gostreamnow.com/VTC today.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Valley's Bits, Bytes, and Banter. I'm your co-host, Bob Dahlstrom, along with my partner in crime, Ralph Score. GoStreamNow.com/VTC for all things streaming. You want to know the latest shows and streaming, the originals, the movies, what have you, which platform they're on, when they premiere.
Everything out there.
What do you need? What device do you need to stream that? What service? How much is it? How are you going to sign up for it? What speed do you need? All that.
There's
and
even
more
there's
is
even
there on that
links.
website.
There's even links there that'll take you to buying your stuff and signing up.
Yeah, it's truly
all in one place.
We brought you a one-stop shop for all things streaming. GoStreamNow.com/VTC.
Yep.
And we're here talking about gaming today, not streaming, but I guess online gaming, right? That's streaming. But we're talking about gaming today, and we're here with our special guests, Josh Encinas and George Tapia. And guys, let's get into. We talked before the break about the background of gaming and history, and we can go on that one forever, right? We didn't even touch esports or anything yet, or even get into online gaming and bringing it home. But let's talk about your guys' preferences, your guys' history and experience with games. So I'm going to ask you guys, what was the very first console you guys owned?
For me,
Yeah, George.
my earliest memories were with an original Xbox. I'm a little bit of a youngster, so that's about where I'm at. But I remember using a PS1, having one of those. But my most favorite growing up, or my first one, and my favorite growing up was that original Xbox.
Nice. Josh?
So I was a little bit older. I had the N64.
Nice.
That one was. It's not my favorite console, but it is very like special to me. I still have it. I still have a few of the games that I'm trying to keep it alive as long as I can. They're
Very
tough
nice.
machines, but yeah, my first was the Nintendo 64.
They are very tough. Ralph, have you ever owned one?
I've never owned one, but I used to house sit for some friends of mine, and they had the big thing I remember is I would sit there for 8 hours and play Ms. Pac-Man.
Oh, man.
You know, it was just like, here we go again. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again.
Eat the dots.
Dreaded you blue meanies. You know, so. The ghosts that would get me. Yeah.
I love that game.
So.
It's still a classic.
Yeah.
Mine was NES. The Nintendo was the first one because, like I said, when I was a kid, we couldn't really afford it, and when I got married, we weren't rolling in it when we first got married. That was our entertainment. Bought us an NES, saved up money, got us that, and played
So I
games
take
at
it
home.
you didn't have any of the accessories that they made with it.
Eventually, yes, I did. I had the gas and brake. I had the steering wheel. The other fittings you can put it on. The NES. Yeah,
Actually, you know what? I think the one I had a Game Boy.
oh, there you go.
Game Boy.
Yeah, because I
And that's when they took it portable.
and that was it was like because I was on the road somewhere and I went oh, what's this?
Hey, this could be a lot of fun.
Ooh, I could play.
Now, was it the one that you flipped up, or was it like
It was
The brick.
Yeah, it was the brick. Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like Game Boy led the way for portable gaming consoles as well, because I had a Game Boy as well, and it was the one that you flipped open. And
It went hand in hand with my
Everything.
Walkman.
Yeah, it was so cool.
You know,
Well, what was funny, like I was telling George, is so the guy who created, or when they created the Game Boy, the one they did before that was called a Game & Watch. It was Nintendo
Okay.
Game & Watch. And the reason he wanted to develop one is because he had seen someone sitting, I can't remember if it was on a bench or on the train, and he saw them playing with just a calculator. And he's like, I can make a game so that people can do something.
Yeah.
And it was one of those games where it was like 3 preset positions, and you just went back and forth catching the falling objects.
right?
And that was
Yep.
basically the iteration before they created the Game Boy.
Okay.
There you go.
So,
There you go.
Yeah.
which also brought Tetris as well. A big
Oh, yeah,
game.
yeah.
Yeah,
Tetris.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
well,
right.
and I think that's what I played all the time was Tetris on it. You know, because it was just like it was just a natural game to play. You know.
it shipped with Tetris originally.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was just like the default. You know.
Remember when consoles would ship with a game? They were like, here, you get a
Yeah,
console, here's a
let's
game
get
to
you
So you
play.
can test
Yeah.
out the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still do, but sometimes they got to pay more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a little extra, like the special edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, before it used to come with it, just came with it. And was the flip up Game Boy, was that the first time it went color?
That was color. That
yeah.
was the 16-bit. Yeah.
So no, they
yours
had
was black and white,
They
right?
had
Yeah,
a
old Game
they
Boy.
had a black and white one. Then they released like a kind of a same looking version as the Game Boy Color, and the SP was the Game Boy SP Advance. So
And everybody's heads exploded.
yeah.
Couldn't afford the color one.
The color's extra.
And then they started, and then they flipped it horizontally, and you could play it like sideways.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, today an argument is that graphics are not important on a game. It's what
What do you mean they're
what
not
the
important on a
gameplay is
game?
like and the story. And so funny is when the when the original NES it had been released, it was an 8-bit console, but 16-bit consoles had already been out on the market.
Right.
But because Nintendo had their own line of games and they were fun to play and they
didn't
more
care.
available, yeah, people wanted the
Vast
Nintendo
library.
Entertainment System. So that's been a lot of these rules have been the same
Yeah.
since the beginning.
Well, I can, and this is funny because we talk about video games and all that, and I can still remember the days where it was like it wasn't graphical at all. It was like figuring something out. They would give you the storyline, and you would input stuff to try to take yourself to the next level.
You'd go to
talking about
PC
those.
and type in the
Yeah,
instructions.
yeah, I remember that.
I remember those very well. I think some of the hardest games and some of the most fun games I played still go back to the original NES.
Yep, it was a good console.
One of my favorite games to play on that was Friday the 13th, which it was very tough to beat that game. But it was a lot of fun and highly entertaining. But there were quite a few games, and some of them are, like I said, Raiders of the Lost Ark. You go back to the Atari 2600. That game was legendary for being very difficult to beat. And many other games. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, graphics are great to look at. But what's gameplay
It's
like?
the game, yeah. Well, let me ask you this, and this comes into the whole thing of the interactive community, I guess you'd say. When did it get to the point where it went from being you're just playing by yourself at home to competing against people online, and almost like what we have the Pirate Gaming Network, right, where you're moving up the chain and you're becoming ranked and all that stuff. Where was a big change in that whole thing?
So, I want to say it was Doom, right? It was one of the original Doom games on the computer. It was one of the first games to be online, and then you also had Quake and Unreal Tournament.
Yeah.
Those were games that were all on the computer, and they had online communities you play against each other. It came to Xbox later in 2004 when Halo 2 came out. They introduced Xbox Live, and that brought it to consoles. And then, so now you have these online communities. PlayStation Live, I don't know too much about, but it was around the same time. And then just recently, crossplay has become more of a prevalent thing. So now you have people on all different types of consoles playing against each other. But I want to say with the PCs, it was early. It was in the late 90s. In the computers, and then early 2000s to consoles.
So is that more prevalent now as far as gaming? Is a gaming community as opposed to just gaming?
Yeah, right now most games, I mean, you're talking Fortnite, Call of Duty, Battlefield, every one of those has crossplay where you can play with anybody on any platform.
Yeah, I feel like most new games that come out have to have some type of online feature to play with your friends. I feel like that just is a key feature.
It's kind of like duplicating the arcade effect.
Yeah.
Now, if you ever get a chance to ask Tim and some of the older guys that were a little older whenever this was happening, but apparently, like original Halo, like that 2001 to 2003 era, they would do LAN parties.
Yes.
Where you'd all get your consoles together, hook them up together through the network, and you would be able to play with each other locally.
Right.
So
but nothing stretching out over the internet.
No.
Right?
No, we did that at the there was the school my kids were going to. Debbie was teaching over there, and all of them were into Halo back, and that was about that time. And so one weekend, they had some kind of a rockathon. They were raising money, and they just said, well, "How are we going to pass the time in rockathon?" We brought like 12 TVs
Oh my gosh.
and 12 Xboxes and LANed them all up, connected them all together. Had a LAN party, and that was insane.
And if Tim is listening to this, I don't mean like old guys. I was just 3 when the original Halo came out. I would have loved to do LAN parties back in the day.
Tim's a baby.
I feel like
Not that he's a baby. He's a baby, though.
I feel like the competitive drive in games came back all the way in arcade machines where you saw that high score at the top of the
and you went, and it's like, I'm going to beat this.
Yeah.
And what did you always stop to look at? You wanted to see the leaderboard, right?
Yeah.
Every time there were high scores on the game, you wanted to beat it.
And then you come in next week, someone beat my high score. Now I have to go beat it now.
Well, and you even see that now, like in some of the bar scenes where you got trivia. And people are playing trivia, and they've got the little console that you're renting it from the bar or whatever, and and they're putting it in front of you at the bar, and you're playing, and there's all kinds of stuff there.
And that's still something you'll see in mobile games.
Yeah,
I think Subway Surfers, it shows between your friends who's got the highest score.
Like if you connect like your Facebook, you can see, Josh's high score is bigger than mine.
Yeah,
gotta beat it.
I can't let that stand.
Yeah.
So you guys are saying you're a little competitive, is what you're saying, what you're telling.
Just a little bit.
Some people may call me a little too competitive.
Is that so, George?
Yes.
Josh has no comment on that at this time, so I think that's confirmed right there. He's a little competitive. I get that. I mean, and I believe it or not, I get called out for that too sometimes. I'm a little too competitive at home.
So, we talk about Fiber Gaming Network, which we feature here. So, explain that to people. In other words, how does that work as far as I know you can really win some great stuff on there.
Yes. So
now we're talking online gaming, a different platform and everything altogether.
Yeah. Well, the Fiber Gaming Network, what you'll do is you'll go to the website, vtc.net/gaming. You can sign up for Fiber Gaming Network as long as you're within our serving area and you have an address in our serving area. You can create an account. You'll have to link your Discord, which is a whole different
animal.
Yeah. It's not too bad, but you just have to create a Discord account. You'll have the Fiber Gaming. You'll link them together. Once you're in that Discord, then from there you'll be able to see the challenges, the events, things that are happening like that. So that's what we've been doing just in certain games. They've added a few more, but I think like the big ones right now is like Marvel Rivals. They'll have challenges. If you complete the challenges and prove that to the admins, then they'll put your points into a system. And then at the end of the month or after when they do their big raffles, depending on how many points you have, that's how many tickets you can put in. And sometimes you can win great prizes. I know that me and another coworker, Isaac, we both won Steam Decks out of one, like
That's
full
awesome.
on $600 handheld gaming consoles, basically.
And keep in mind, this was the secondary prize.
Yeah, number one
That's
was
crazy.
a PS5 Pro.
With the portable handheld.
Oh my goodness, that cost a pretty penny.
Yeah.
That's amazing, and it's free to sign up for this and play.
totally.
As long
games
as
to
you just
Valley
got to be a
Telecom.
little bit competitive because you got to complete those challenges, and that can be there. Some of them are pretty tough, but
And just another topic on the Discord, it's such a great community. Like everybody is there, super helpful, always willing. If you want to make friends, need someone to play with, someone's always in there.
yeah, and you can
wanting
talk
to
about
play.
anything. There's people in there that'll, as long as you keep it family friendly, you can have conversations and be like, hey, what games you guys play? Do you need,
Do you guys feel like the moderators keep it pretty
Yes.
safe and family friendly?
And they're fun, actually. The moderators are probably the most fun people in that community.
They're like nonchalant, but always keep some stuff professional. But yeah, they're super good about their job in that channel. Like if anybody's screwing around or anything like that, they put a stop to that pretty quick.
I was gonna say I don't know who it was, but they were talking to Jacob about like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is an anime he just watches and just like, oh yeah, we're talking about that.
And started a whole topic on it.
And then they also have like a bot in there that Isaac, our coworker, likes to mess with and break all the time.
So you can have some fun. Just it is a lot of fun, and it's a good way to just give you a goal while you're playing games. If you don't, if you're kind of like I don't know what to do, there's something you can be like, oh, let me get these challenges done, and it gives you a reason to play, and you have fun doing it.
And the thing is, it's like you don't need to focus on doing challenges to do challenges. If you just play your favorite game that they have included with their quest, and if you just submit or keep track of what you're doing, you can just submit the quest. And
some of them are as simple as win a match. If you win a match, there's your points.
Or not even that. Like some of them are as simple as like just play matches too. You don't even have to win.
Just compete.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Just
cool.
play.
That's really cool.
And then on top of that as well, they have tournaments that we can all play. And we have done before here in the office. But they have tournaments like in Rocket League, Marvel Rivals, and any free-to-play games such as like Valor or anything like that.
Sorry, George Ralph's got his game.
Yeah,
He's playing over there to the side. He's he's playing Frogger over here.
He's a little too competitive over there.
But I think it's nice because it's really cool because it's a whole nother online gaming community it brings to people. Mm-hmm. That's cool. I think all people on there are it's all provided by rural internet providers. Mm-hmm. So it's rural people, adults, kids, all the way from across the country on there.
Well, yeah, and then that's kind of like what Discord is. Like, if you're unfamiliar with the platform, basically it's a space online for... It can be for anything, but a lot of the time it's for gaming. But if you have a content creator that you follow and they have a Discord, that you can usually join that and you'll meet people. And so there's a lot of different servers that you can jump in for all different kinds of topics. You can meet people, and there's just a lot of information out there on that. So, like, I would just say... And then with us, with the Valley Gaming Network, or with the Fiber Gaming Network, we're just giving you like a place to go to play games for free, and you can meet some people.
And if anything, like me and Josh are both in there as well. So if anybody wants to connect or play games, we're always in there. And then our coworkers as well are in there as well.
Yeah, because you guys are a part of the Valley esports team.
Yes.
Which is awesome. And what is your guy's name?
Rogue Terminal.
I like that. Said it.
Rogue Terminal.
I like that. Stereo. So, all right, George, what's your favorite platform to play on?
My favorite platform right now
What's
would
your
be
favorite console?
PC.
PC.
Yeah.
I said platform at first because to add that.
But if I was going to go with a console, because I know PC is kind of a broad answer, I would go with like a PlayStation. It used to be Xbox, but now I have a computer that can play any game an Xbox can play. Since Sony likes to make exclusive games that don't go on any other platform, I would say PlayStation, since they have really good titles that they only keep on the PS5.
Right.
Now, have you built your own PC? Or
I have.
Have you really?
Yeah.
So do you think that you like the PC just because of the speed and the capabilities of it?
I like my PC playing
Also
on
graphics,
PC. Yeah, the graphics are way
processors.
better,
Yeah.
and then the performance that you get from a computer is way better than any console that can provide you with that.
Right.
I feel like any
It's
game
kind of like
runs
being
better.
the fastest draw in the West.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh?
I'm on PC as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of
feels
the
like
See,
really
this is
take
why we
gaming
call you
seriously.
expert gamers.
It's kind of the ultimate. Like, there's a lot of upsides to being on the PC. The price being the downside. It's expensive to get into that, but
Sure.
The number of games is basically infinite. There's tons of titles on Steam, and there's like I'm trying to think off the top of my head. You have Steam, EA, you have Ubisoft,
Epic.
you have Epic, you have Origin was EA.
Yeah.
Xbox is on because Xbox is made by Microsoft. They make Windows, so they're all together.
And like a lot of indie developers don't tend to optimize their game for consoles, so a lot of those indie games go on PC first. So
Nice.
sometimes indie games don't even reach the light of day on console.
Yeah.
I've seen there've been a few. They're not coming to me right now where they've started on PC and they tried to make them compatible to consoles, and it's not the same.
Not the same thing.
They can't provide the same.
There's two titles that just recently, off the top of my head, Phasmophobia started on PC and it just got a console release not too long ago, and then Ready or Not, which was the
SWAT simulator game.
Right.
So do they have to rewrite a lot of code when they're taking it over to console versus PC?
I feel like one thing is with the players on PC can optimize their settings, like the graphics and how demanding the game is going to be on their PC. Towards console, it's not like
You're kind of whatever the limitation of the console is.
They have to build it to meet
and
those.
a lot of people don't get on their Xbox and go on the game and be like, oh, I need to optimize my settings. Usually on console, it's already optimized, so the Xbox will work on its best capabilities.
And to what you were saying, and I don't know, I'm not a coder, so I don't really know like a ton of the background on that. But I imagine with it being like Xbox and Microsoft are like, Microsoft owns Xbox and Windows.
So they're going to write a lot of the same. A little bit of modification, maybe. Yeah.
Sony, PlayStations, those ones are, you have the issue of licensing because Sony owns it.
Right.
But there may be some differences. And then I know there's like Nintendo games. Those are going to be completely different because they a lot of the times have their
proprietary stuff. Yeah. So I know there was something that happened. I think this is in the news probably within the last year or so. There was one of the gaming products that they had issues with Apple and the Apple Store as far as because of what Apple wanted to charge, and they wanted to get away from them and sell it on their own. And there was a big loss.
Yeah.
Was it like
was that what it was? It was Fortnite.
Like the Apple tax that they were putting on the game.
Yeah, it was Fortnite. Fortnite is a free to play game, and they make all their money off of in-game cosmetics and battle pass purchases. So they didn't like that Apple wanted to take some money off the top. It was a whole thing, and I don't remember what ended up happening on that. I think you can still play Fortnite on your iPhone, can't you?
You can, yeah. They just added a new app that you can play Fortnite via your phone now.
Right.
Yeah.
I know a lot of developers don't like to put their game support Apple because of that.
I wonder if it's because Apple. Did Apple kind of relent to them? Is that what it is? They kind of.
I don't remember the outcome of that. I remember hearing about it, but I wasn't like I had played Fortnite a few times. It wasn't like my favorite game,
right?
But I do remember hearing about that. I don't remember what the outcome was, though.
I would think the number of people, the fans of Fortnite, at some point, Apple would even have to look at that and go, maybe we need to back off.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because it's like, hey, either we're going to not make any money at all, or we're gonna lower the amount of the expectation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So what was the very first video game you guys played that got you hooked on games? I mean, you played some that are like, nah, and you put it down.
Back from my first console was the original Xbox, so I would have to say Halo 2, which would be the first game I probably ever played and remember way back.
And that just got you, pulled you in. I can see why on Halo 2.
For me, it was the original Halo, and it was just like, it was fun, and it kind of showed me that you could have a video game where you could have this full-on narrative that wasn't based on anything else. You're telling a story in this game, and it's fun to play. You can play with your friends. Everything about it was just like, I need more of this.
Right.
And so that's what got me hooked. And then I was like, okay, so now you have all these in-game worlds that got me introduced to. So you have Halo, then you have Fallout, and then you have like the Elder Scrolls, Doom. Like all these games came because I was like, I just saw Halo and I saw what it did. And it was like, yeah, you have books and all these background worlds that were created from video games.
Wow.
And that's why you have such a rabid fan base for Halo. I mean, conventions just for Halo.
Yeah.
All the different sequels they've made and all. I mean, it's crazy.
And what about something like Call of Duty? Because that's got a huge community.
Call of Duty
is a funny. So then they started. They were more of like the history aspect and playing like the World War II.
Right.
I think the second one was even like partnered with the History Channel. But it wasn't until World at War, I want to say, was the first one that kind of created this like in-game like
its own world
narrative.
Yeah.
They had the whole Black Ops story, and then they did the Modern Warfare, which was separate, and then so now you have the Modern Warfare storyline, which went into the future a little bit, and then you have Black Ops. So now you have the two different branching Call of Duty games all kind of based within like a reality, like, but they had their own like it's kind of like just an action movie narrative to them.
Yeah, and I was a big fan of Black Ops 2, which is another good game that was a part of my childhood as well.
Very
I played
similar
Modern
vein.
Warfare 2.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Very cool. So, what do you guys think? You look back, even you. We're older than you guys, I know, so we know and have been more involved in the older video games than you guys have. I'm just throwing it out there, Ralph. Drop that bomb where it may. And you guys have seen the evolution of gaming in that time, and we all have.
Yeah.
Where do you think the next big thing is? Where do you see the evolution of gaming going? I know Meta's putting out the VR goggles and glasses. You talked about the sunglasses you can wear. Is that the next big thing that's going to be commercially available, like the consumers can afford? What do you think?
I feel like, yes, I feel like that should be the next big thing, since now when you do play games like that, you can tell that they need a little bit of work. I feel like that would be a great next step. I know a lot of people talk about maybe contacts in your eyes, but probably not there
neural
yet.
link.
Yeah.
Beat.
But definitely, I feel like stuff like that, actually being able to move your body and be in the game would be a next step. And then just shrinking down the goggles or something like that.
Well, yeah, and it seems like that's kind of the, like, if you look at sci-fi books and like, well, the Ready Player One, the whole idea is that you want to be more immersed in these worlds.
Right.
I'm kind of at an age now where I'm like, I kind of miss my old games, and I like the games that work. And so I just like, if it, we'll try the craziest. Well, and I look at the PC games that come out, like Phasmophobia, I think was one of the first ones to really implement proximity chat. Like, there's little things that they're adding here and there that
kind of add to the immersion of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, when I sat there and you could... One of the funniest things I remember seeing on a YouTube video was in Phasmophobia, whenever the door slammed on Markiplier's face, and then you just hear through the door his muffled scream.
Yeah.
I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I
love that.
I like going into a game, like a random indie game, and just screaming and hearing my echo. I'm like, oh, they actually made
right.
that.
Right. Well, it's amazing because if you look at Lucasfilms now with what John Favreau and those guys did with Mandalorian, they shoot in a 360-degree LED stage called the Volume, and it's all run on game engines. And
I
the
believe
camera,
it's Unreal,
and the cameras are all virtual cameras that they're shooting in there with, so they're able to change the atmosphere and everything in real time for these guys while they're in there, not worry about green screen or anything.
So one thing that I've kind of like looked at is, I remember with Unreal Engine, so we've gotten to a point now where graphics like really can't get much better.
Right.
The more detail you throw in, it's just going to bloat with lots of data. But one thing Unreal has been able to do is create these vast worlds using their like compression technology. So now you can get in these games where before they would try to make it look big, but it was kind of fake.
Like a map painting.
It was like, like even in like old early 2000s games, you could really tell it was like that. It was just kind of a background, a blue sky with maybe some mountains in it, but it felt like a box.
Yeah.
But now with Unreal, they're opening up these worlds to make them like not only feel real, but like those are really rendered
real
in
environments.
The game.
Real environments.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of software developers, such as like AMD or NVIDIA, are trying to implement, which is not the best software right now, is the AI upscaling, where they're trying to put in AI where they can like kind of further in the distance, they'll try to like AI or kind of render in
I can
some
see them
buildings
trying to
and
implement that.
doing that.
But it's
But
just a matter of time before that really gets to that apex level.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sitting here thinking like RPGs using AI would be interesting. But at that point, it's getting a little scary.
When it decides that, I'm going to kill you.
Could you imagine the next Fallout game where you go to the NPC, but it has a completely different conversation, or you have to like, input something? I mean, that's just something that I think would be interesting to see. I don't know how it would work.
But technically, it would be the next step in gaming where AI is completely being able to talk to you and you can respond to the AI and you are actually having a conversation.
Well, think about it. It reacts to whatever you input in. In other words, because it's going to give you back out. The better you give in, the more it's going to give out.
Well, and you can program. I know right now you can program AI to act a certain way.
Yeah.
So it's just the next iteration.
It's all about the
that.
prompting for it.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's going to come a time when it's like, how are you addressing the AI in the game is going to change the way the game plays, and maybe it changes in real time, and every time you play it, maybe it plays a little differently.
Well, and I'm hoping that my thing on AI is like everybody kind of scared of it. I'm like thinking it might be it'll be a good tool for us to use. So you have these software coders, they can come up with easier ways to make these games and maybe focus on better narratives, better gameplay, creating these crazy worlds and not have to spend as much time developing it because you have a computer that's helping you.
Right.
I would hope that it's just going to lead to better games in the future, bigger, more expansive worlds with more stories. Baldur's Gate 3 blew me away.
Yeah.
I can't begin to explain how, like, I've had 2 hours of gameplay in there, and I'm still in the first part, and I'm seeing new things all the time.
I feel like Baldur's Gate was one of those games that came out during a time where video games were kind of
Stale.
stale, and not a lot of good things were coming out. And then Baldur's Gate came out, which is an RPG, MMO, or
It's a CRPG.
it's a CRPG. It's a top-down game.
So it's like a computer
It's kind of-
top down. You click, and then it's almost like just basically Dungeons and Dragons. It's actually licensed by Hasbro.
Okay.
Dungeons
Yeah.
and Dragons. So you create your character, you get to be wizard,
And then you have like
paladin, and all
skill
that.
checks as well. So like speech skill check, it'll roll a dice for you. And then if you get lower than 10, then you have to get higher than 10. Then you'll fail the skill check, and then something bad will happen.
Yeah, but not only was the game actually visually good, detailed and good, and all the voice lines were motion captured, so it felt like a real person like talking or
Right.
saying these lines. But there's just so much in it. You could sit in there for hours, and it'll be different every time you play almost.
And then going back to the online thing, they also made that game online, so you can have four
players.
people like just running around in like
Wow.
like a Dungeons and Dragons setting and just playing.
Unless you do what we did and you mod it so that you can have more than
So
four.
we have
but
like,
it's
like six
How
plus
you
people.
jailbreaked it, I see. Okay.
that's
Nothing
funny.
wrong with that.
We have too many friends, so everybody wants to play. So we have to mod it so we can put at least 12 people in there.
And chaos ensues.
Yeah,
That's what happens. I always wondered why for platform anime. We talked about animation. Yeah, how much better can it get? And that's my big argument with Madden. Why in God's earth are you putting a new Madden out every year? I haven't bought Madden in 20 years.
see, that's my
haven't either.
concern as well.
And but that's I figure games are going to get that way.
Right.
I think too, it's because they're updating it based on stats from
And players
from one
and-
season and players and that kind of
So
stuff.
Madden
you know.
is a whole other
That's another
can of
world.
worms. I can
Yeah.
So there's actually a YouTube channel I'm gonna recommend. It's called Soft Drink TV. His whole thing is he goes through like why Madden is the way it is now. But basically they signed exclusivity. NFL signed exclusivity to EA back in 2007, I believe, or 2006.
That was a while ago.
Before that, though, there was multiple companies making NFL games,
Yeah,
and specifically 2K. Now, 2K itself is a company, they made some iffy games here or there, but back in 2005, they had their NFL game, but the engine was completely different. It was more physics-based rather than animation. There's all these different
Right.
things that they've done, and ever since they signed exclusivity, EA doesn't really have to innovate much. They just have to make the same
Yeah.
game over and over, maybe change the skins. And honestly, I think they've been caught multiple times that it's like, oh, it's the 2020 version, but if you go to the practice field and you look at the signs, it says Madden 19. Because it's the same game,
Wow.
copy, pasted, new.
Yep. They didn't
I
change,
honestly,
they didn't change that.
I was like, if you wanted to do it a certain way, you could make it just a single Madden game and have yearly updates or make it free to play.
That's what I think it should be.
Well, I think if they still want to make money out of it, because I know EA, well, they will always want to make
Yeah,
money. But
sure.
what they can do is just like make an update for the game, or even like charge a set price if you want to get these updates, or like maybe
That's-
$30 or something like that, just to get the next generation
Yeah.
of what the next game will be.
Players get traded,
But
players
maybe,
move,
Yeah.
retire.
Because that's practically what you're paying for is
Yeah.
a updated roster. And that's
So,
saying-
it.
so
Yeah.
this comes down to licensing, though. Okay, so it's just like a broadcast license, right? You have X number of years. How long is that contract term for between
think they
EA
just
and the
renewed.
NFL?
It was supposed to be up a couple years ago, but I think they renewed.
Renewed it.
Yeah,
I believe they
look at
did.
that.
A
I
couple
wonder
years
how
ago,
much. Now, how much are they paying the NFL
Oh,
for
my
that
goodness.
license?
probably a lot.
A lot
of
I
money.
know a
Yeah.
couple years
Exclusive
ago
one.
that was in the talks of EA losing the license to make NFL games, and a lot of people were thinking 2K was going to come back, like how Josh was mentioning, because they were
Yeah.
going to think, oh, 2K is going to save the NFL games, but then EA ended up buying the license
Yeah,
again.
Yeah.
to me that's ludicrous. But with that, but
EA
I understand.
It looks like their deal is set to expire in 2026. However, they are in advanced negotiations to extend.
I really
the
hope
agreement.
somebody
Yeah.
else is bringing something new to the table and competing with them.
The problem is they can make a football game, but they can't make an NFL licensed game, and that's the problem.
Well, if they could win the license, I mean, you're right. Right now, what are they going to show?
Yeah, they'd have to make up their own thing.
Well, unless they do something with the NCAA and do college.
They did.
And those are happening there too.
Yeah,
they did just release a college football from EA.
Oh, they did.
All the different teams and everything.
I think it's because they're the ones that are recognized, as well. In other words, everybody looks at that and they say, "Well, it's EA Sports."
It's in the game.
Well, it used to be that way.
Yeah.
I say when EA was making Nintendo games back before,
Right.
they were making games, and that was what they were known for. They were a big company that they made good games.
Yeah.
That's how you knew them. Now, I mean, we still know them as a big company, but they're
They're
ones
not necessarily
that
making.
were.
It's kind of like cereal companies.
Yeah, they're the ones that make the bad Madden every year. They're the ones that ruined the Star Wars Battlefront 2 launch.
Right.
They
Yeah, it's just
ruined
like they've
Battlefield
phoned it in.
5,
And
ruined
now,
Battlefield.
and now
5.
when you hear a game, like you see a game, it's like made by EA.
Yeah.
Or like, this game is gonna be a little iffy.
I say that, but then last night we played the Battlefield 6 beta, and it was pretty good.
Right.
I like the idea of doing one game you can buy and download the upgraded rosters and maybe stadiums and season schedules,
But
whatever.
I think they make a lot of money off
Sure
of
they
their
do.
current.
Yeah, because a lot of
they
people
do.
complain about a new Madden every year, but it's the same people that complain
And they
go
buy
and
it.
buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't bought your game in 20 years. Just getting it out there so you
I think
know.
I've played the last one. I don't even know if I bought it. I bought like 17, but it was either on like a super discount or it came through like Xbox.
I have never
Pass.
paid for an EA sports game. I only had Madden 17 because it came with my Xbox.
I was gonna say I paid for like 2007. Back then those Maddens were pretty good.
I'm just going to get my electric football set out again.
Well,
You go like
and-
this
sad
and a
though.
table, and you just change the little number on the guy's back every year.
So when you talk about gaming, though, there are people that are like exclusively play first person, like exclusively play Call of Duty, exclusively play RPGs. I know there's a few people here in the office that they just play.
That's all they play.
Online mass MMOs.
Yeah.
But then in that same vein, you have people that only play sports games and they only play
Right.
Madden, and they're just locked in and they're buying
That's
it
their
every year.
thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But a
Right.
good thing with like sports games, they're good co-op games. Like they're
I
good
can just-
couch
yeah.
party game. Like
That's
you can-
true.
Yeah.
Like me and Josh sat on the couch. Hey, I'm gonna play as the Eagles. You play as the Chiefs, and we'll
Yeah.
compete or something like that.
Well, Madden's created the 99 Club, right? So even the players now are in on it.
Yeah.
And where they're like, hey, they want to get to the 99 Club rating.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they play each other
Yeah.
and they have tournaments where they play. And yeah, so I mean, you got to give them credit for figuring that out, right? And coming up with those kind of things to make it keep going.
Yeah.
I don't know why, real quick, I don't know why any of the consoles never came up with a modular version where you have a base model.
And then
It's called a Nintendo Switch.
There you go. And it's like next year I want to buy, I don't know, I want to buy more RAM for it. And I can do that and up it.
Yeah.
That's called a PC.
Yes, exactly.
that's-
But my point was, why haven't the
So like if a
consoles
console
done
didn't
that?
come out with like upgradable components, where
Yeah.
here's the
Yeah.
problem
like
with
plug
it
in,
now.
plug in a new
Yes.
processor, plug in more RAM.
Yeah.
We were talking with Isaac about that, and basically the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 consoles were, I guess, like I imagine they'd use PC parts before, but it was specifically for those consoles. Xbox One and PlayStation 4 straight up just use PC parts. I mean, they're like you running a 2700 XT is basically what the PlayStation 4's graphics card is,
Right.
and you have the Xbox using AMD processors.
Yeah.
They're just computers at this point. And now you're going to get a new Xbox Series X costs $500. Or you could build a low-end PC for $800.
Right.
And then eventually keep upgrading it. So we're
Right.
getting to that point. And as we get, as we keep going, and I think this is why Xbox is moving away, the consoles are going to cost as much as a PC. So then you have that argument, why would I even buy a console?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
even when you get a PC, when you think about just the gaming element, you also have like the productivity of a PC as well. Like you can do a lot of other
Yeah.
things
That's
on
true.
a computer
Games
besides
with it.
games.
I can also start streaming. I can
Or
also
editing.
start making videos. I can also I can do my taxes. What was that? That was
Yeah.
what Jacob left.
Well, it's just like some of the consoles
Adulting.
became the streaming element. You know, so at what point in time did the consoles say, let's give them more functionality than just a gameplay?
I did hear that Xbox or Microsoft, I should say, is trying to, with their next generation of console, they're trying to put like a Windows OS on there. So now it's a computer.
Yeah. Basically, it's just it's
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like a really cheap computer, but with the
Interesting.
Xbox
well,
branding on it.
it's like it's a game console that has computing capabilities. So it's
Yeah.
like here's for somebody that
Right.
doesn't want to spend a massive amount of money on a laptop, but we want to give them some functionality so they can go just beyond the game, so
Right.
so that they can go to Microsoft and buy stuff.
Well, and it's like I have friends, they just don't want to deal with the PC element.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
like, well,
Yeah.
every time you start a game, you have to like, you have issues or you have
I gotta-
graphics drivers.
I got to
updates and
boot
stuff.
up, yeah, and
Yeah. And I'm like, I understand that part, but you're getting to the point.
They own consoles, right? Software
Yeah.
updates all the time.
yeah.
Also, I feel like either way, if people are moving to PC, Microsoft isn't losing at all.
No.
Because
No.
you're still getting a Microsoft Windows key.
Yeah.
And they
Yes.
also pre-download like the Xbox app on your computer, and they also do like stuff like that. And then they also like promote like Office and then Copilot now and all that.
All
There you
that.
go.
Yeah.
So either way, you get an Xbox, Microsoft is winning. You get a
They're
PC,
consolidating
they're
all
winning,
their products, and no matter where you're going with it.
Yeah.
That's why like my thing is like I'm gonna start getting into PC, and honestly, since I made the switch, it's been great. I have no major complaints about going to PC gaming, other than
It's really hard to take that thing out and put it on your lap while you're
Yeah.
sitting there.
Well, very portable.
you don't have that couch element. You can do it, but it's harder. You know, sometimes you have to worry about like your setup because you have all this stuff on
Sure.
a desk. I can't just load up my, sit on my TV and sit on the couch and play whatever. I have to go sit
You
at my
need,
desk.
you need the one that
Right.
like comes out of the floor, goes.
Have you
Intense.
have you seen like the
That's the
PCs
next
built
one.
in like the
Yeah.
desk?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then built into the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like another thing like Bob was saying about like consoles being completely modular, like a PC is completely modular. And then even if you build it yourself, you know which component is which.
Right.
So if like something goes out, you can replace
You
it
can change
easily.
it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm actually just about to change out my CPU and motherboard basically doing a new setup, but I didn't have to buy a graphics card. I didn't have to buy a case because I already have that. I'm just
Right.
using some of the parts I already have. I'm changing stuff out to upgrade my system.
Right.
Yeah.
I
So-
used to do that with my regular computer all the time, not for gaming, but I was
for
constantly
regular.
change it
Yeah.
out, do
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
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 My only, like I said, I do have friends that just they don't want to go to computer. They like playing. They turn on the Xbox,
And there it
games
is.
there,
Yeah.
play the game.
Yeah,
I think
that's-
that's part of it too. Is that convenience of I'm just going to turn it on and play.
Yeah,
I don't wanna mess
I
with
think
it.
that's fine. I just don't see the point in paying as much as you would for a computer.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where I think maybe handheld gaming is going to become a bigger thing.
Yeah.
The Steam Deck came out, and it's about $600 for the high end one. The Switch 2 just came out.
Yeah.
They do really well. Nintendo Switch sold a lot of consoles, and they have their games.
It's because of their exclusive games that they have. Because Mario's not going to be on Xbox or PC.
Nope.
It's not going to
Yeah.
be Mario Kart.
Yeah.
They all have their exclusive,
And then
depending what you like to play.
And then the Switch has like established itself for being like the best couch gaming console for like your friends when you want to bring your friends over. Let's play some Mario Party.
Me and my brother
something.
still play golf on the Switch.
Yeah.
The sports.
Yeah, with the exception of Meta doing those, are the only ones that take
Yeah.
motion into consideration. You have to get up
Yeah.
and move. So yeah, it's a great party game or family game, stuff
Right.
like that.
So there's still an argument for it.
So, but all of these you can still play on FGN, guys, and that's the point here.
Yes.
And speaking of that, looking at the time on the clock here, it's time for us to go. But first, we'd like to thank our special guests for coming in today, Josh Encinas. Josh, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
George Tapia. George, thank you for coming along.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it
Glad
was
to be
great.
here.
Guys, if you ever have any questions and want topics for us to discuss, email us at podcast@teamvtg.net. For my co-host Ralph Skoll, I'm Bob Dahlstrom. Thanks for tuning in to Valley's Bits, Bytes, and Banter. Take care.